with.
You were in Afghanistan in 2002.
Of the cave. There's a cave.
You see something coming out of the cave.
This is a monster. Red beard. Then his hair was longish, past the shoulder.
Afghanistan is a land of rich history and untamed landscapes, a place where ancient mysteries and modern conflicts collide. During the war, soldiers often found themselves in remote, uncharted territories, facing not only the enemy but the harsh and unpredictable terrain itself. Now think about this for a moment. These men were trained for battle, prepared for danger at every turn, but no one, not even the most seasoned soldier, could have imagined what some claim to have encountered deep within those rugged mountains. What if I told you that they came face to face with something that defied all reason, a being so enormous, so otherworldly that it challenges the boundaries of what we consider possible? Is this simply a wild tale, exaggerated over time, or could it be a glimpse into a hidden truth, a reality we're not ready to accept? Today we're diving into the chilling story of the Kandahar Giant, and also reveal a shocking and real video that shows the U.S. Army fighting against giants near Durango, Mexico. The story originates from the heart of Afghanistan, specifically the rugged and mysterious Kandahar region, known for its jagged mountains, sprawling desert landscapes, and deep caves that stretch endlessly into the earth. This land, ancient and untouched in many ways, has been the stage for countless historical conflicts, cultural clashes, and mysteries over the centuries. It is in this backdrop that one of the most bizarre and controversial tales from the Afghanistan War is said to have taken place. In 2002, during the height of U.S. military operations in Afghanistan, an Army infantry unit stationed in the Kandahar region embarked on a routine patrol. This particular patrol was tasked with reconnoitering an area known for its complex cave systems. These caves were not only natural formations, but were also used by local insurgents as hideouts, weapons caches, and strategic points of attack against coalition forces. It was a hostile environment, fraught with danger, and every step taken by these soldiers carried an undercurrent of tension. The patrol moved deeper into the rugged terrain, away from their base and into the wild expanse of the Kandahar Mountains. Communication with their higher command was maintained regularly as they advanced. Yet at some point, all radio communication from the unit ceased. No distress calls, no updates, and no acknowledgement of the repeated attempts by their command to reach them. The infantry unit had effectively vanished without a trace. The disappearance of an entire patrol in such hostile territory was an immediate red flag. It wasn't uncommon for small units to experience communication issues due to terrain interference, but such incidents were typically resolved quickly. The complete silence from this unit was highly unusual and deeply troubling. Fearing the worst, that the unit had been ambushed or fallen victim to an insurgent attack, command decided to escalate the situation. Enter the Army Green Berets, the elite special forces tasked with finding the missing infantry unit. Among the Green Beret detachment sent on this mission was a soldier who would later come forward under the pseudonym Mr. K to recount the events that unfolded. These were soldiers trained for the most dangerous and unpredictable scenarios imaginable, equipped with cutting-edge technology and honed instincts. Their mission to locate the missing unit, ascertain their status, and, if necessary, engage and neutralize any threats they encountered. The Green Berets were flown into the Kandahar mountain range by helicopter, landing roughly 4 kilometers from the infantry unit's last known position. The insertion was strategic. They avoided landing too close to the area to minimize the risk of drawing attention from any potential enemy forces. Once on the ground, the team began a methodical search of the area, meticulously scanning the rocky terrain and cave entrances for signs of the missing soldiers. For the first couple of days, the search yielded nothing out of the ordinary. They found no signs of an ambush, no tracks indicating movement, and no remnants of the missing unit's equipment. The mountains were eerily quiet, save for the occasional gust of wind and the distant cries of wildlife. The soldiers' unease grew as the days wore on, the silence of the mountains amplifying the mystery of the missing patrol. On the third day, the team came across something that sent a chill through even the most battle-hardened soldiers. They stumbled upon a trail of scattered military equipment, broken radios, tattered uniforms, and discarded gear that bore the insignia of the missing infantry unit. The discovery was both a breakthrough and a grim indicator of what might have happened to the patrol. As they followed this trail further up the mountain, the soldiers began noticing something even more disturbing: bones. Scattered along the path were what appeared to be human and animal bones, some broken and others gnawed upon. The presence of the bones suggested that whatever had happened here was violent and catastrophic. The trail led the team to a plateau, a flat expanse carved into the mountainside, littered with more bones and remnants of the missing unit's gear. The plateau was surrounded by cave entrances, their dark mouths gaping like ominous voids. The soldiers, trained to recognize and anticipate ambushes, instinctively took up defensive positions, their weapons trained on the cave entrances. The air was thick with tension, every shadow and movement scrutinized with a mixture of fear and readiness. As the team scanned the area, one soldier noticed something unusual. From the depths of one of the caves, he caught a flicker of movement, a shadow darting just out of view. He called out to his teammates, alerting them to the possibility of someone or something inside. Before they could react, a massive spear hurtled out of the cave with incredible force. It struck one of the soldiers, impaling him and killing him instantly. Chaos erupted. The team, momentarily stunned by the sudden attack, quickly regrouped, their training taking over. They aimed their weapons at the cave, prepared for whatever was about to emerge. What they saw next defied logic and explanation. From the darkness of the cave stepped a figure unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was a giant, standing between 12 and 15 feet tall, with fiery red hair and a thick red beard. Its eyes burned with a fierce intensity, and its body, clad in rudimentary animal skins, exuded an aura of raw power and aggression. The giant let out a guttural roar, charging toward the soldiers with unnatural speed and agility. The team opened fire, their weapons unleashing a hail of bullets at the charging giant. Despite being hit multiple times, the creature continued its assault, its sheer size and resilience making it a formidable opponent. After what felt like an eternity but was likely only seconds, the giant finally fell, its massive body crashing to the ground with a thunderous impact. The soldiers stood in stunned silence, their minds struggling to process what they had just witnessed. One of their own was dead, killed by a being that shouldn't exist. They approached the giant's body cautiously, examining it in detail. The creature was massive, weighing over 1,100 pounds, with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. Its features were distinctly human, yet exaggerated to a degree that bordered on the monstrous. Realizing the significance of their encounter, the team radioed back to their higher command, reporting the incident and requesting immediate extraction. 2 helicopters were dispatched to their location, one to recover the body of their fallen comrade and the other to transport the giant's remains. The extraction process was challenging. The giant's body was so large and heavy that it required specialized netting to secure it for transport. Once loaded onto the helicopter, the creature was flown to a nearby airfield, where it was transferred to a C-130 cargo plane. From there, its destination remains unknown, shrouded in secrecy and speculation. As for the soldiers, they were debriefed upon their return, their accounts of the incident recorded but subsequently classified. Mr. K and others involved in the mission were sworn to secrecy, their experiences buried under layers of red tape and official denials. Yet, over the years, fragments of the story began to emerge, shared anonymously by those who could no longer keep silent. Now let's turn our attention to another fascinating and controversial tale, one that emerges not from the jagged mountains of Afghanistan but from the dense, impenetrable jungles of Ecuador. This is the story of the so-called Giant of Loja, a mysterious figure whose discovery stunned locals and scientists alike and reignited debates about the possibility of ancient giants once roaming the earth. Our story begins in 1964 in the small province of Loja, nestled in the Andes Mountains of southern Ecuador. This region, known for its thick forests and rugged terrain, has long been a cradle of mystery and folklore. Indigenous tribes inhabiting these lands speak of ancient towering beings, giants who were said to have once walked these jungles, leaving behind massive structures, footprints, and legends etched in stone. For years, these tales were dismissed as mere folklore, stories passed down from generation to generation to explain natural phenomena or entertain the community. But in 1964, a discovery was made that would blur the line between myth and reality. Local farmers in Loja were digging a new well on their property when they unearthed something extraordinary, a massive humanoid femur bone, far larger than any human bone ever recorded. The bone, measuring over 5 feet long, belonged to a creature estimated to have been at least 25 feet tall. At first, the discovery was met with disbelief. Surely this couldn't be real. The farmers, however, were convinced of its authenticity and brought the femur to local authorities. Word of the discovery spread quickly, attracting the attention of archaeologists, anthropologists, and curious onlookers from around the world. Soon, a team of researchers arrived in Loja to investigate. Among them was Dr. Luis Gonzalez, a well-known anthropologist who had spent decades studying ancient cultures in South America. Dr. Gonzalez was skeptical at first, but when he saw the femur, he knew he was looking at something extraordinary. The bone was carefully examined and subjected to various tests, including carbon dating and DNA analysis. The results were astonishing. Not only was the femur ancient, dating back thousands of years, but its structure was undeniably human-like, albeit on an enormous scale. The sheer size of the bone suggested that it belonged to a humanoid creature that defied all known classifications of human evolution. The implications of this discovery were staggering. If the femur was genuine, and all tests seemed to indicate that it was, then it meant that giants had once existed, not as myths or legends, but as real living beings. As researchers continued to study the femur, they began to uncover more evidence supporting the existence of giants in the region. In nearby caves and burial sites, they found enormous footprints preserved in hardened volcanic ash, measuring over 3 feet long. They also uncovered primitive tools and weapons that were far too large and heavy for any normal-sized human to wield. One of the most striking pieces of evidence came from the oral traditions of the Shuar people, an indigenous tribe native to the Amazon rainforest. The Shuar spoke of a race of giants who lived in the region long before their ancestors arrived. According to their legends, these giants were powerful and intelligent, but ultimately perished in a great cataclysm, leaving behind only their bones and artifacts as evidence of their existence. But the discovery in Loja didn't end with the femur. In the years that followed, other giant bones and artifacts were unearthed in the region, each one adding to the growing body of evidence. Skeptics, of course, were quick to dismiss these findings as hoaxes or misinterpretations, but the sheer volume of discoveries made it increasingly difficult to ignore. In 1976, a second major discovery was made in the same region. A team of archaeologists exploring a remote cave system stumbled upon a massive skull, nearly 3 times the size of a normal human skull. The skull was remarkably well preserved, with its teeth and jawbone intact, and bore all the hallmarks of a humanoid species. The discovery of the skull reignited public interest in the giant of Loja, sparking debates among scientists, historians, and theologians. Could these giants be the same beings mentioned in ancient texts like the Bible, which speaks of the Nephilim, giants said to be the offspring of angels and humans? Or were they a separate species altogether, perhaps an evolutionary offshoot of early humans? Theologians and historians pointed to ancient accounts of giants as further evidence. The Sumerians, for example, wrote about the Anunnaki, a race of giant beings who were said to have descended from the heavens to rule over humanity. Similarly, the Greek myths spoke of the Titans, colossal beings who predated the Olympian gods. Even Native American tribes like the Paiutes told stories of red-haired giants who once roamed the Americas. While some dismissed these accounts as mere mythology, others saw them as corroborating evidence of a deeper, hidden history of humanity. one that included giants as a significant part of our past. But let's return to the scientific perspective for a moment. What could explain the existence of such massive humanoid creatures? One theory suggests that these giants were the result of a condition known as gigantism, a rare hormonal disorder that causes excessive growth due to an overproduction of growth hormone. However, gigantism alone cannot explain the sheer size and prevalence of these beings as described in the legends and discoveries. Another theory posits that these giants were a separate species of hominid that evolved in isolation, perhaps in regions with abundant resources and low competition. This would align with the discoveries in Loja and other parts of South America, where the environment was conducive to the survival of large organisms. Despite these theories, many questions remain unanswered. Why did these giants disappear? Was it due to environmental changes, disease, or conflict with other species, including humans? And why is evidence of their existence so sparse and often shrouded in controversy? Some researchers believe that the lack of widespread evidence is due to deliberate suppression. They argue that the existence of giants challenges mainstream scientific narratives about human evolution and history, and as such, any discoveries that don't fit these narratives are often dismissed or buried. For example, in the United States, there are numerous accounts of giant skeletons being unearthed in the 19th and early 20th centuries, particularly in the Midwest. Newspapers from that era reported on discoveries of skeletons measuring 8 to 12 feet tall, often found in burial mounds attributed to ancient Native American cultures. However, many of these skeletons reportedly disappeared after being sent to museums or private collections, leading to accusations of a cover-up. Before diving into another story about giants, let's talk about a strange video that went viral in May 2014. The YouTube channel Video News Viral uploaded a clip claiming to show the U.S. Army Air Force engaging with a giant alien creature in the deserts of Durango, New Mexico. The footage starts with two soldiers watching a military plane apparently taking down a creature that some viewers described as jellyfish-like, while others speculated it could have been part of a military experiment involving advanced technology. The original uploader alleged that the video was taken down from YouTube at one point, leading him to believe it may have documented a classified operation dealing with an alien threat. However, no additional details about the incident have surfaced since. Now let us shift our focus to a remarkable story from the far reaches of Siberia, a land of permafrost, endless forests, and haunting mysteries. This is the tale of the giants of Denisova, a mystery tied to a scientific breakthrough that both deepens our understanding of human evolution and challenges everything we thought we knew about the existence of ancient giants. Our story begins in 2008, in the remote Denisova cave in the Altai Mountains of Siberia. Archaeologists had been exploring the cave for years, unearthing artifacts and remains from early human species. It was a site rich in history, offering insights into the lives of Neanderthals and other hominins who once roamed the region. But then something extraordinary was found, a small bone fragment, seemingly insignificant at first glance, yet destined to rewrite history. The bone fragment, identified as the tip of a pinky finger, was dated to about 50,000 years ago. What made it extraordinary, however, wasn't its age, but its DNA. When researchers analyzed the genetic material, they discovered it didn't belong to modern humans or Neanderthals. Instead, it represented a previously unknown species of hominin, which they named the Denisovans. The Denisovans were a revelation, a hidden branch of the human family tree, but the discoveries didn't stop there. Among the artifacts found in the cave was a massive molar tooth, far larger than any human or Neanderthal tooth ever recorded. This tooth, along with other skeletal remains, suggested that the Denisovans were not only a distinct species, but also far larger and more robust than their contemporaries. The size of the tooth led to immediate speculation. Could the Denisovans have been giants? Ancient legends from Siberia and Central Asia spoke of towering beings, powerful and intelligent, who lived in the mountains and were both revered and feared by local tribes. Could these legends have been inspired by real encounters with Denisovans? Further analysis of the Denisovan remains revealed that these hominins were genetically distinct, but interbred with both modern humans and Neanderthals. This interbreeding left a genetic legacy that survives in some modern populations, particularly among indigenous groups in Melanesia and Southeast Asia, where up to 5% of the DNA can be traced back to Denisovans. But what about their physical stature? While the evidence is limited, researchers have reconstructed a picture of the Denisovans as being exceptionally large and muscular, far more so than Neanderthals. Their robust build would have made them well-suited to the harsh Siberian climate, where survival demanded strength and resilience. Adding to the mystery is the discovery of tools and artifacts attributed to Denisovans. Among these are intricately carved jewelry and sophisticated stone tools, suggesting that these ancient giants were not just physically powerful but also highly intelligent and skilled. Their ability to create such artifacts hints at a level of cognitive development comparable to, if not exceeding, that of their Neanderthal and early modern human counterparts. The Denisovans' size and capabilities raise fascinating questions. Could they have been the inspiration for the many myths and legends of giants that exist across cultures? From the frost giants of Norse mythology to the ogres of Siberian folklore, the parallels are striking. These stories often describe beings of immense strength and stature, living in remote and inhospitable places, a description that fits the Denisovans remarkably well. One particularly intriguing account comes from the indigenous Yakut people of Siberia, who tell of the Chuchuna, a race of giant hairy beings said to inhabit the mountains and tundra. According to legend, the Chuchuna were reclusive but occasionally interacted with humans, sometimes helping them and at other times clashing with them. Could these stories be distant echoes of encounters with Denisovans or other ancient hominins? While some dismiss these tales as mere folklore, the discovery of Denisovan remains lends them a new layer of credibility. If the Denisovans were indeed larger and more robust than modern humans, it's not hard to imagine how encounters with them might have inspired stories of giants. These beings, towering over early humans, would have seemed almost godlike, both awe-inspiring and terrifying. But the story of the Denisovans doesn't end in Siberia. Traces of their DNA have been found as far afield as Tibet, where another extraordinary discovery was made. In 2019, researchers studying a 160,000-year-old jawbone found in a Tibetan cave confirmed it belonged to a Denisovan. The jawbone was massive, with teeth far larger than those of modern humans, again hinting at a species of considerable size and strength. What's particularly fascinating about this Tibetan find is its location, at an altitude of over 10,000 feet. The Denisovans' ability to survive in such extreme conditions suggests they were highly adaptable and may have been the first hominins to inhabit high-altitude environments. Their genetic legacy includes adaptations to low-oxygen conditions, which are still present in modern populations living in the Himalayas. This brings us to another question. If Denisovans were so widespread and influential, why did they disappear? Like the Neanderthals, the Denisovans seem to have vanished around 40,000 years ago, leaving behind only fragments of their existence. Some researchers speculate that competition with modern humans, combined with changing climates and other factors, led to their extinction. Others wonder if they might have persisted in isolated pockets, their stories surviving in the myths and legends of the people who encountered them. Now, what are your thoughts on these stories? Tell us in the comments below and subscribe for more content.